Good evening, neighbors. Today, we're going to talk about the Norse and disabilities. It's been a long drive coming back from Michigan. I've had a lot of time to think about it. Recently, my friend Savage did a post about Ivar the Boneless. I'll tag him below, make sure you check him out. He'll be doing a documentary soon. He could use our support. Because of the video and the representation that it gave the disabled community, someone was upset. We talked it out like adults. Some of y'all should try it. And I'm not going to get into the historical aspects, but the cultural. This video will have 3 verses from the Havamal to prove my point on how the Norse viewed the disabled and ableism. We begin with Havamal stanza 71. A limping man can ride a horse. A man without hands can herd. A deaf man can fight and win. It's better even to be blind than fuel for the funeral pyre. After all, what can a dead man do? Representation. Sometimes that's exploited, whether that be for entertainment and riches or cultural control like World War II. We all have a sense of wanting to belong. I would say even more so for the disabled. I was going to ask you to try and think of how many disabled people you have in your life, but then I realized I'd have to ask you to ask again because some we cannot see. How many of you knew that I was 60% deaf? PTSD and depression too, but the fitness helps a lot with that. And something called the Helper's High. Google it, you might like it. The AA also told me I'd never walk again. Tree landings, what are you gonna do? But I had recently at that time found the Norse gods overseas in the desert. I took solace in their many, many disabilities. Now that's representation. Tyr missing a hand. Hoder blind. Odin missing an eye. I could go on. Eventually I figured things out. But I had a lot of time to read back then. Man, how people do look down on you. Past you, really. Through you like you were invisible. Now this next part's personal and to a lot of the Gothi out there. Buddy, kindreds, tribes, and pacts, whatever you call yourselves. Realize some of your members message me. If you're to have some kind of celebratory or funerary service out in the field where someone can't get to with a wheelchair, they're messaging me. I am no Gothi, but I do appreciate the respect. I am honored. We're going to have a little talk though. Why should you have to accommodate the disabled in your kindred? They should just have to set this one out, right? That's American selfishness creeping in. Tribes stick together. They all contribute, and they take care of each other. They respect the contributions of the past. This goes with the elderly as well. Stop excluding them. Make exceptions like our ancestors did. Havamal stanza 41. With weapons in cloth, one should gladden one's friends. Your friends, right? That's quite clear of itself. Those who give and receive stay long as friends. And one-way friendships are for pastors. Anyway, if things last, all is well. Then we turn to stanza 44. You know if you have a friend and trust well, and from him want nothing but good. Share thoughts with him. Keep trading gifts and visit often. Think on that for a while. That was the Norse Support Network. Modern term, yes, but one you're needed for your own tribe. Kindred. Are they really kindred if you're looking away because you don't want to deal with it? Gonna look away if Odin shows up? What about me? Some folks need a hand standing back up if they get knocked down from just an injury. Like me. You gonna do what our ancestors did? Or come together as a group and build a ramp? Take turns pushing the wheelchair in the mud. The disabled aren't dead yet. You should maybe let them know that. They're called to this like many of us, and they learn incorrectly. We don't know a lot about Ivar the Boneless. I believe the show Vikings took a lot of creative liberties, and fallacies, and inaccuracies. But if that's all you leave people with, well, let's look at another fiction. What if that person's Lieutenant Dan? They invest in some fruit company. Bet you care then. Maybe they come walking in with their magic legs. And that's just a dishonor you're gonna have to live with, like they did. And in the end, how we live this life, how it ends. Will you be adding to your family's honor or subtracting from it, working it off in the next life? No, if they're not dead, they count. Some will heal and improve, get better. Some may not, and just surprise you. Everybody has a use and a purpose, except bad leadership maybe. Something to think about. The more I help people, the more I find myself in luck. So if you and your tribe need a hand making accommodations for the disabled in your community, reach out, I'll help. No one should have to know what it feels like to be alone and abandoned at the Washington Monument. Forgotten. A burden. Anyway, speaking of burdens, I need to go charge my hearing aids and unpack from the road. See you next time. Acha cha cha cha.